Good day. I'm going to discuss the title of the study as Facility Performance Evaluation, abbreviated as FPE, using Post Occupancy Evaluation. The component of the general framework of the study is on top. So the flowchart will actually represent from top till the final output. So first is the research program. Then after which you need to have a target building which will serve as your pilot project, which is actually a commercial building as shown a while ago. So here the next succeeding step is how to evaluate the building, or known as building evaluation. From the flow, so take note that it is equated as building performance evaluation, or abbreviated as BPE, or sometimes you can even call this one as your post occupancy evaluation. Then from here, the next succeeding step here is to evaluate the facility performance evaluation, known as FPE, after which we need to evaluate also the life cycle cost, also known as the LCCA, or known as life cycle cost analysis. Then eventually we would like to sustain the building's operation in a short or long-term implementation. What is building evaluation? Definition: building evaluation typically entails measuring the actual performance of a building in terms of resource consumption, example, energy, water, or this is known to be the utilities. So building evaluation may also include systematic evaluation of the opinions of the building users, such as the occupants, visitors, or clients. This aspect of building evaluation is frequently referred to as building performance evaluation, or known as BPE. Building performance evaluation is also defined as building evaluation. It is frequently referred to as building performance evaluation, or abbreviated as BPE. Includes accessibility, aesthetics, cost effectiveness, productivity, safety, and security. So in long term, it is also considered to be sustainable. Actual versus model performance. For some metrics, it is easy to obtain actual performance data. Models are necessary. It is best to use any relevant available actual data when possible to better reflect operating performance, or OP, rather than the design performance. Post Occupancy Evaluation, abbreviated as PO, or POE. This additional aspect of building evaluation commonly falls under the rubric of post-occupancy evaluation. Post-occupancy evaluation originates from an interest in learning how a building performs once it is built, including if and how well it has met expectations and how satisfied building users are with the environment that has been created. This is quoted by Beecher, year 2002. Post-occupancy evaluation can clearly be used to introduce a culture of feedback, service to community, and continuous improvement based on good practice. Identify and quantify value for money projects and cost effectiveness, demonstrating money has been well spent. Next is introduce appropriate record management, technical information, support and training of technical staff. Next, identify and quantify the need to improve building services and controls and evaluate performance issues such as space, efficiency, functional performance, and environmental or energy performance to fine-tune. Next is help address occupants' dissatisfaction complaints about basic comfort, health, or safety issues such as noise, staff, and users, resulting in occupants understanding more about the operation and management of the building. In general, there is room for improvement in managing the buildings and to support the goal of continuous improvement. The framework shows where PO fits in the context of an overall building performance evaluation, abbreviated as BPE. This figure and the three levels within a PO framework. So here you could see that there's actually a cycle how PO is actually conducted. So here it starts with the planning phase. So market needs analysis, then eventually effectiveness review. Then we proceed to the programming phase. From the programming phase, we have program review, eventually the design or the design review phase, after which it is constructed or construction proceeds. Then gradually we need to determine the post construction evaluation. Then once that it is already done, they can already occupy the building. Then eventually the post-occupancy evaluation can be conducted at this phase. Then later on, we proceed to what we call the recycling phase. So this is actually feed forward into the next building cycle. Figure 1, the building performance evaluation model. This is actually conducted by Fraser in the year 2002 and J. Yosis in the University of Cincinnati. Fraser proposed an evaluate review in all 6 major phases of building delivery and life cycle. The benefit from conducting PO or the post-occupancy evaluation is the valuable information to support the goal of continuous improvement. Facility performance evaluation, known as FPE, is an extension of what had been called post-occupancy evaluation or PO. Facility performance evaluation is an continuous process of systematically evaluating the performance and or effectiveness of one or more aspect of building in relation to issues such as accessibility, aesthetic, cost effectiveness, functionality, sustainability, productivity, safety, and security. Today, the scope of elevations of building performance continues to grow, as shown in figure 4 below. So facility performance evaluation can be categorized by the purpose they serve at various stages of building life cycle. So types of facility performance evaluation, we have the program review, design review, construction evaluation, conceptual research, post-construction evaluation, post-occupancy evaluation, present and future needs evaluation, and market analysis. From the conceptual research, it stems up to programming phase, design phase, construction phase, closeout phase, occupancy phase, renovation, extension, recycling, or demolition phase. Eventually, they all connect to building production, delivery, and occupancy stages. Figure 4, types of facility performance evaluation and their relationships to the building production, delivery, and occupancy stages. Recent developments of post-occupancy evaluation has extended its scope as the discipline has expanded and become more specialized. So, to have the terms used to describe it, for example, facility performance evaluation, abbreviated as FPE, buildings in use assessment, buildings evaluation, facility assessment, and building performance evaluation, as cited out by the author Zimring et al., year 2010. So in short, there are several ways on how we can actually call facility performance evaluation in several means, as pointed out a while ago. Facility performance evaluation will assess the program of monitoring activities carried out of the case study, comprising of the following methods of data collection and analysis. First is longitudinal studies using meters to collect energy and water use and occupancy experience, survey group of occupants or users of the building over a specified period to record energy and water use trends and document appliances currently used by the occupants. Next is development of an occupant survey questionnaire, as well as established research instrument in conducting research inputs. Interview clients to appraise successfully the function of the Pablo R. Halili building to maximize its economic function in servicing its client. Occupants have a central role in the assessment of building performance since the user's physical, functional, and psychological experience of the building's environment is a measure of its effectiveness. One might say quality, as stated by Beecher in the year 2008. In addition, following Reiser, year 2001, can also define facility performance evaluation by their activity and resource requirements. Facility performance evaluation aimed at showing the major strength and weakness of a particular building. Next is more detailed investigation using facility performance evaluations aimed at showing the cause and effects of environmental issues of buildings. And lastly, diagnostic facility performance evaluations aimed at correlating measures with subjective users' responses. Typically, there are three phases of facility performance evaluation. Letter A, the planning phase, consists of reconnaissance and feasibility studies, and research and resource planning. In this phase, the parameters of the project are established, the schedule cost and workforce needs are determined, and plans for data collection, procedures, times, and amounts are laid out. Letter B, conducting phase consists of initiating the on-site data collection processes, monitoring and managing the data collection procedures, and analyzing the data. One important aspect of the conducting phase is to ensure that data being collected meets facility performance evaluation goals and does not bias the results. Letter C, applying phase consists of preparing documents, reporting the findings of analysis, recommending actions, and monitoring and reviewing the outcomes of any such actions undertaken. Outcomes are important because they may be used as a feedback to modify or improve the next cycle of facility performance evaluation processes. There are three phases of facility performance evaluation, or abbreviated as FPE in this diagram, namely planning, conducting, and applying. Under planning phase, number one is reconnaissance and feasibility study is undertaken. Next is research planning. And finally, pre-testing methods. Under conducting phase, first is initiating data collection processes, succeeded by monitoring and managing data collections, and finally, analyzing data. Next is the applying phase, presenting or reporting findings, succeeded by recommending actions, and finally, reviewing the outcomes. Then finally, feed forward into the next building cycle. So this is actually taken from the phases of facility performance evaluation by Fraser. Techniques commonly used to collect data of building users' relationships, the facility performance evaluation or post occupancy evaluation techniques are questionnaires, interviews, structured or open-ended interview, field observations, walkthrough, direct observations, photographic surveys, recordings of the use of time, looking for physical evidence of use, workshop sessions, space mapping. Or you can also provide here a Dropbox. One key aspect that characterizes facility performance evaluations as opposed to post-occupancy evaluations is that facility performance evaluations often involve a much wider range of measures such as technical, economic, and organizational performance. The Workplace 2020 program uses the Balanced Scorecard, BSC, to organize a range of building-related outcomes. This is undertaken by Kampschroer and Herwagen in the year 2004. Table is facility performance evaluation, measures using the Balanced Scorecard, using the 4-domain approach. Under finance, we have the operating and maintenance costs, cost of building related litigations, resale value of property, rentability of space. Then business process. So under business process, we have process innovation, work process efficiency, product quality, time to market, and etc. Third is customer. So public image and reputation of the structure or the building, customer satisfaction, community relations. And then under human capital, we have quality of work life, their personal productivity, psychological and social well-being, and belief in cultural change. So the source is Strategic Post Occupancy Evaluation, paper for the International Conference on Post Occupancy Evaluation in the year 2004. An evaluator or researcher may need to take the following measures to conduct a successful facility performance evaluation. So, namely, develop a clear statement about what the organization wants to achieve by conducting and applying a facility performance evaluation, succeeded by identifying resources available to carry out the facility performance evaluation, matching data collection and analysis to the available time and budget. Next is support from high levels in the organization to signal the importance of the project to respondents and or occupants, succeeded by information respondents and or occupants about the purpose of their involvement and how data will be used. Finally, used facility performance evaluation findings to facilitate organizational learning to improve building performance under routine conditions and to respond to changing conditions quickly and effectively. Facility performance evaluation have a significant role to play in the building industry as a building control system. The FPE techniques become computerized and continue to conduct and manage. So facility performance evaluation data and learned lesson well becomes more easier and cost effective. So therefore, facility performance evaluations need to be incorporated as a necessary step in the project production and delivery and portfolio and assets management process. In addition, professional, organizational, and technical issues traditionally have limited effectiveness of FPE need to be addressed and that may require major structural and organizational changes. Life cycle cost analysis is also another method, is a method for assessing the total cost of facility ownership. It takes into account all costs of acquiring, owning, and disposing of a building or building system. Life cycle cost analysis is especially useful when project alternatives that fulfill the same performance requirement but differ with respect to initial cost and operating costs have to be compared in order to select the one that maximizes net savings. For example, life cycle cost analysis will help determine the incorporation in the system, which may increase initial costs but result in reducing operating and maintenance costs. Is cost effective or not? Cost. There are numerous costs associated with acquiring, operating, maintaining, and disposing of a building or building systems. Building-related costs usually fall into the following categories: initial cost, purchase, acquisition, construction cost, fuel cost, operational, maintenance, and repair cost, replacement cost, residual value, resale or salvage values, or disposal cost, finance charges, loan interest payments, non-monetary benefits or cost. Life cycle cost analysis escalates all amounts to their future year of occurrence and discount them back to the base date to convert them to present values. Note, when financing costs and tax effects are relevant, they should be incorporated into life cycle cost analysis. Lowest life cycle cost is the most straightforward and easy to interpret measures of economic evaluation. Some commonly used measures are net saving or net benefits, savings to investment ratio or savings benefit to cost ratio, internal rate of return, and payback period. Building economists, certified value specialists, cost engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, operations researcher, and other might use any or several of these techniques to evaluate a project. The approach to making cost-effective choices for building related projects can be quite similar, whether it is called cost estimating value, engineering, or economic analysis. Life cycle cost formula. To find the total life cycle cost of a project, sum the present value or alternatively the annual values of each kind of cost and subcontract the present value or annual values of any positive cash flow such as salvage values. Thus, where all accounts are adjusted by discounting their present values or annual values, the following formula applies. So life cycle cost equals to first cost plus maintenance and repair, add energy cost plus the replacement minus the salvage value. So take note, the reason why we need to subtract the salvage value because the salvage value is actually an income against the cost. So that is why you need to subtract this one. So the other term for salvage value is what we call junk value. Source, Architectural Graphic Standard, 8th edition by Ramsey R. Sleeper, page 91, under New York, the 1988 edition. Applications of life cycle cost, or known as LCC. LCC method can be applied to different kinds of building problems. For example, it can be used to compare the long-run cost of one building design to another, to determine the expected savings of retrofitting a building for energy conservation, or the least expensive way of reaching a target energy budget for a building, to select the most economical floor coverings and furnishings, and to determine the optical size of a solar energy system. Conclusion: building performance evaluation provides better understanding on the impact of the building delivery process and decision on customer response, both initially and over the life cycle of the building. Building evaluation or post-occupancy evaluation or facility performance evaluation and life cycle cost analysis are important measuring tools and structured review of the operational, functional, and strategic performance of building duration during occupation. Managers bases his decision on factual information in order to make the utmost effective decisions to meet its continuous effort for growth and sustainability in its building operations. Abbreviation: BSC, Balance Scorecard; BE, Building Evaluation; BPE, Building Performance Evaluation; FPE, Facility Performance Evaluation; LCC, Life Cycle Cost; LCCA, Life Cycle Cost Analysis; POE, Post Occupancy Evaluation. This ends my report.